Join UF Hall of Famer and 14-year NFL vet Shane Matthews every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about your Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions with some of the biggest names in sports. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Or watch us live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Good morning. It's a live edition of PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the International Diamond Center Studios, locations across the state of Florida, right there in Celebration Point in the heart of Gator Nation. Swing by, check out the good folks at International Diamond Center. We'll have Brent Beaird here and JC as well. At the Scottish Open, Patrick Cantlay is tied with the lead with Tom Kim at 5 under par. And the guy I take every week that never plays well, and I didn't pick him this week, is Michael Thorbjornsen is one shot back. Koepka's one shot back. So good stuff here for the weekend, heading into the British Open. Let's go to the Titan Moore hotline, our man, our Heisman Trophy voter, and college football analyst, Brent Beaird. Good morning, Brent. How you doing?
Shane, doing well. We're in the midst now, as you know, of media days for everybody. We've got basically a different conference every week. The Big 12 just finished up, and we've got the ACC next week and the SEC coming up in 2 weeks. So July used to be pretty quiet, Shane. It's not that way anymore, is it?
No. Any news coming out of the Big 12 media days?
Nothing earth-shaking. I think they did talk about expanding the playoffs. They are behind a 24-team playoff situation. They do like that. So now the reality is they won't make the real decision on that. That's going to come between the SEC and the Big Ten, but they are on board with it as far as going to 24. And Brett Yormark did not say really anything about the Brendan Sorsby situation, so that may be just as well, frankly. So we wrapped up Big 12, and Shane, we've got ACC coming up in a few days too.
Yep. Any more news on the playoff situation?
Playoff situation, they are still meeting. Nothing definitive about that yet. Now, they have got, and they say this in every meeting, is, well, we've got until the first, basically a few days of December to make a decision. But the reality is they really need to get something done here. I think within the next 2 or 3 months, and if they get the playoff decision made, they can go to other issues that they really need to have done too. So, no, nothing has been decided yet. Basically, everybody wants or is open to a 2014 playoff, except for the SEC, who wants to probably either stay with 12 or go to 16 because, or one of the main reasons is their championship game in the SEC makes between $80 and $100 million for one game, which is incredible. But that's one of the reasons they're hanging on, Shane.
Yeah, Destin Gator on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, says Baylor's Dave Aranda said QB DJ Lagway's experience in Florida was like wearing a straitjacket, someone that is just all boxed in and boxed up and just wanted to be free. I saw that. Look, you could, whatever you want to say, I know for a fact that we saw reports about how, he never went to class because he didn't want to be bothered, blah, 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 all that stuff. That was because of his people. They have agents and they have these marketing people and this, that, and the other. Now they have a whole group of people, these college athletes. That's what they wanted him to do, which is ridiculous to me. he should have just been like every other college athlete, go to class, mingle with other players, mingle with other athletes, mingle with regular students. That's on them. So that's my 2 cents on that. Brent, we have a question here from Rick on the Titan Mar text line. He says, which coaches entering this season with the most pressure, and what would you consider a successful year for those under the pressure?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, you've got obviously pressure with teams like Georgia and Texas, who are predicted to be the top 2 teams in the SEC. I mean, look, even if they had a difficult season, those coaches aren't going to be fired. But at the same time, they want to continue to make some success. I mean, Georgia was pretty close to really having a breakout last year, losing to Ole Miss, which was unfortunate for them. Texas, I think a lot of that's going to be how Arch does. Arch struggled at the beginning of the year through the middle of the year, but then through the middle of the year to the end of the year, he threw like 15 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. I may be off on the numbers a little bit, but he got better as the year went along. There's incredible amount of pressure on Lane Kiffin at LSU, but again, got a lot of guys coming, and Will Stein at Kentucky is going to be interesting to see where that goes too. So it's going to be it's going to be very interesting media days, much less the season, to see these coaches address the media for, or at least the media that big, and maybe in their career.
Yeah, I think I agree. You know, Sarkisian, Kirby. I think Sarkisian probably has the most pressure on him. They've been to the playoffs last couple of years, got knocked out. But I think there's going to be one coach fired at the end of the year, maybe mid-season. I don't see how Shane Beamer makes it. I really don't, Brent. I didn't think South Carolina was very good last year, and I just don't see them being any better this year.
Yeah, no, look, I agree with that, and I've talked about that over here a little bit during the week. And they've gotten some pieces coming back. I mean, Lenore Sellers is a pretty good quarterback. Nick Harbor is a good tight end receiver. Dylan Stewart, Bakari Swain, those are guys that people like. I mean, they have gotten some recent commitments. 5-star cornerback Josh Dobbs, who is one of the better players in the state. But I agree with you, Shane, frankly. I mean, they were 4-8 last year. And frankly, with their schedule, I don't see it being much better this year. Do you?
No, I don't think they're going to be very good at all. Ruse Ogre State Farm offers a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help life go right with the right insurance options for you and your family. Visitogreinsurance.com. Give us a call at 352-240-1779. Our producer, Zach, may not be happy with my comments because he's a South Carolina grad, but I just don't think they're very good. Brent, let's start with the Alabama Crimson Tide. What's going on there?
Yeah, they're getting ready, obviously, for fall practice coming up very quickly. There's some real thought that Kalen DeBoer may be able to turn this team around this year. I mean, obviously, they won double-digit games and went to the playoffs, and losing to Indiana, which ended the season. But they've got some questions at quarterback. They've got a couple of guys who is going to take the reins. Will be interesting. The offensive line, I think, is their biggest question mark, and they've got to get that straightened out. And also at linebacker, but they've got everybody coming back in the secondary. Their defensive line should be better. And they've obviously got a big game with Georgia coming up in October. Got some very winnable games in the month of September, which will help them. Yes, very, very interesting year coming up in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, and Joseph's question on Facebook Live brought to you by Meldon Law regarding Alabama. He wants to know your thoughts with Alabama's recruiting class currently outside the top 25. and 14th out of 16th in the SEC.
Well, some of that is because in this recruiting class that's coming up, that they are now. Look, they had about the previous weekend they had about 5 guys come aboard, which helped them. But this is going to be a pretty small class for Alabama. It's not going to be in the 20s. My understanding is it's probably going to be maybe 13 to 15 or something like that. They'll massage the numbers as it comes along. I mean, if you're an Alabama fan, I get it, and I get the concern about the recruiting class, but they've got very few seniors overall in this football team. They've got a decent amount of juniors. A lot of those guys, I think, are going to probably stay. So I understand the question, but they're limited, frankly, of what they can do with some of the numbers.
What's going on with the Arkansas Razorbacks?
Ryan Silverfield will be interesting to see how he does. They've got to replace some guys, Taylor Green at quarterback, Mac Washington at running back. But they've got a really good running back in Braylon Russell, who they like. And that's going to be interesting to see. Shane, you remember from last year, Arkansas's big problem is on defense, and they've got to get that side of the ball much better than where it was. I think they can do a little bit, but that schedule is going to be tough, frankly, as they hit the SEC. In every preseason magazine that I have seen so far, Arkansas is predicted last in the SEC.
Amy's question on Facebook Live, this is a good one, brought to you by Mel Law. He says, why aren't more SEC teams pursuing sponsorship jersey patches? Only Arkansas with Tyson and LSU with Woodside Energy have them.
Well, that's a good question. The teams are allowed to do that now, and you would think that would be pretty easy money that they could get that. And look, college football will never look like NASCAR drivers with all the insignias on there and so forth. But they can do that now, and some teams, I think, are kind of, I don't know, Shane, if they're so much reluctant to do it as much as they're just kind of waiting to see, who's going to fall in line, and they think that would be something that would be pretty easy to do. That is a great question, and that's going to be very interesting to see what the SEC teams do with that.
Well, if I was in charge, I would do everything possible, because it makes absolutely no sense with the amount of money being thrown out there in today's world.
Yes.
I would have those soccer signs around the field with all the different advertisements. I know we have some like electronic boards, but I would put those cushion things all the way around the field. I would put Publix or something on the 35-yard line on one side, Gatorade on the other. I would go. I do have a marketing degree from UF, so maybe they need to hire me. Just kidding. That's kidding.
Well, look, I agree.
I would put all kinds of patches on these guys' jerseys now. It makes no sense. If we're having to, as a school, pay these players, I need to replenish that money from somewhere, because the majority of the money we're paying out ain't worth it. It just blows my mind. It's a pretty easy thing to do. Yes, it's very, very simple. What's going on with the Auburn Tigers?
I think there's some optimism at Auburn they haven't seen in a while. Alex Golich has come in, obviously, but bringing Byron Brown at quarterback certainly helps your optimism. Frankly, the problem with Auburn is, like several SEC teams, they've got Tennessee. They've got at home an off week. Then they go to Georgia. Then they play LSU. And then they go to Ole Miss. I mean, I don't care who you are, Shane. That's brutal. So within that 5-week stretch, I mean, goodness, if they're 3-2 or 2-3, that would help them. But I'm hearing more optimism, meaning that Auburn could certainly have a 6-6 or a winning season, which is something they haven't had in several years.
What's going on with the mighty Gators?
Yeah, I appreciate very much what John Summerall is trying to do. Certainly trying to get folks on board. I think that's happening. I think there's a lot of excitement about Jaden Bott, running back, Dallas Wilson, Arian Philo, Tremel Jones. They're kind of unproven, but yet they have a lot of potential. There's work to be done at the line of scrimmage. Frankly, there was on the SEC Network Monday was Florida Day, but at this point, Summerall has got their attention. Frankly, and even the little things such as being on time for meetings or being early on meetings, there's a lot of being discussed, and it's one of the most. I'm curious what you think about this, but it's one of the most positive off seasons I've heard from Gainesville in a while.
Yeah, it is for sure. I think it's a tremendous coaching staff that will go a long ways. All right, what's going on with the Georgia Bulldogs? And before we get to them, Dan's question on Facebook Live brought to you by Mellon Law. Brent, any concerns that the UF-Georgia game would leave Jacksonville?
Well, there's always concerns about that, but that is a priority here. Obviously, the reason they're not playing is because the stadium is being redone. But they will be back here. And look, the city has made a real commitment for that game, and that has not changed. And I think people would be very impressed once this stadium is finished and where that's going. So, we hear that from time to time here, but certainly what I hear from living here is they're just after this stadium is done, that there will be continued a real commitment to keep that game here, and it needs to stay here.
Yep, for sure. What's going on with the LSU Tigers?
They are they're recruiting well, for one thing. A lot of people like Sam Levitt at quarterback and what he's going to be able to do. Blake Baker's getting some praise as defensive coordinator and the job that he's done. They've done a really good job with recruiting. LSU is among the top teams in the nation. With that, they've signed 9 players in the top 250. With that, they've got some guys they really like. Deuce Gerald, who's a defensive tackle. They've got Lamar Brown, who's a defensive end. And I know a lot of these names aren't real familiar yet, but they're pretty confident that the ones I mentioned, the guys like Braden Allen at wide receiver, who's a 4-star kid, will really make a difference. So they're compiling some talent. Still, the LSU beat writers will still tell you that this team's still a year or two away from where they really need to be, but they are making progress.
What about the Mississippi State Bulldogs?
Yeah, we don't talk a whole lot about them, but Camario Taylor at quarterback is going to be really a pretty exciting quarterback to watch. Missouri transfer Marquise Johnson is a wide receiver that they really like. But again, it's going to be difficult. State was 5-8 last year with the bowl appearance too. So that there's frankly some excitement about them and where they could go. The problem is that they kind of get bunched up with everybody else, and it's not going to be easy for them at all. But hoping for a better year with Camario Taylor.
Yeah, Oklahoma, Brent, is an intriguing team. They made the playoffs, and they have a lot of guys back. Their schedule is pretty difficult. What do you think about the Sooners this year?
Well, I think a lot of it will how healthy would John Mateer be at quarterback, who when he's healthy, he's a good quarterback. Obviously, he struggled last year. And again, they made it to the playoffs and lost to Alabama, but they did make it there. And their defense was was good. And Brent Venables went there and was able to kind of solidify that situation. Isaiah Santiga is a wide receiver who they really like. That's a good question. It's a big year for them, to say the least, Shane.
Yeah, the Texas Longhorns, obviously, it's either Georgia or Texas. Majority of the preseason polls have in the SEC or in the nation. I think the Texas Longhorns are better than Georgia, personally. What do you think about the Longhorns this year?
Yeah, and I would agree with that. Will Muschamp will be the D coordinator. Will's back in football, which is great for everybody, I believe. Their running game probably will be better. Hollywood Smothers, which is a great name. He almost went to Alabama, but he decided to go to Texas. Raleek Brown should be really good at running back. People may have forgotten, but Auburn wide receiver Cam Coleman is one of the wide receivers now at Texas. Arch, if he stays healthy, will do a good job. There's a lot of pressure on Texas. There's no question about that. But, Shane, there's also no question they've got talent too, right?
They got a ton of talent. And I think the addition of Will is going to help their program a lot.
Yes.
Brent, before we get out of here, I guess one of the bigger games in the ACC will be week 1. Clemson goes to LSU. Clemson had a down year last year. Can the Clemson Tigers give the LSU Tigers a battle?
Well, I'll tell you what really gets my attention on this. And this actually came out last week, or some of the early odds on the game. I mean, already Clemson is a double-digit underdog, and it's just July. So I guess that tells you something to think about that. I mean, they should be pretty good. Now, they really need a resurgence, frankly. But that's going to be a humongous game for Clemson to start the year off to see if they could win in Baton Rouge. I'm not sure that's going to happen. Frankly, I think LSU may have better talent. Frankly, so and look, I'm not sure Dabo. I don't think that Dabo is going to necessarily be fired if it's a rough year, but they need a much better year than what they've had, yes.
But could you imagine if LSU lost the opener at home? That would be something else.
Oh, goodness gracious, yes.
Yeah. Brent, give us some nuggets before we get you out of here.
Yeah, and speaking of what you're saying, imagine if they lose the opener, particularly in the month of September, Shane. They go to Ole Miss, and then they come home and play A&M. So that would be very difficult for them. Also, Florida State, a little bit of news for them. Deuce Robinson, their wide receiver, looking to have a really good year. 1,000 yards last year. Not a lot of people at wide receiver had 1,000 yards, but he did. So they're really hoping that he will come back and he'll play well. Texas A&M had a 5-star tight end, Erling Haaland, that committed to them over Alabama, Miami, and Ohio State. So that's pretty good for them, to say the least. Tennessee, again, we mentioned this last week, Chas Coleman, Penn State transfer, has been medically disqualified. They've got a lot of questions, particularly quarterback. Their defense coordinator, Jim Knowles, has got a lot of attention, obviously, too. So, and we mentioned Ole Miss a few minutes ago. Ole Miss, well thought of with Trinidad Chambliss at quarterback, Kewan Lacey at running back, and also Will Eccles at defensive tackle. And Centurion Perkins is still there as edge rusher, so they're excited about that. And Missouri's got Austin Simmons that's coming in at quarterback. He was at Ole Miss, and their offensive line at Missouri is going to be pretty good. Ahmad Hardy, Jamal Roberts, a really good running back tandem. So that's going to be very interesting to see where that goes to. So, Shane, we've got ACC Media Days coming up in a few days, and then in a couple of weeks, we will be wrapping up at SEC Media Days, if you can believe that.
Yep, no doubt about it. Brent, good stuff as always. Appreciate your time. We'll talk to you next week, my man.
Always, brother. Take care.
UF grad Michael Schneider, a real estate attorney, can help you save thousands of dollars in real estate commissions by helping you sell your home or land by owner without a broker. Michael Schneider, PLLC, serves the entire state of Florida. Contact Michael at maschneiderpllc.com. We're going to turn it over to Win with JC. You're watching and listening to PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the International Diamond Center Studios. We'll be right back.
Our premium sponsors are Atlantic Roofing, Campus USA Credit Union, International Diamond Center, J.F. Hayden's Craft Liqueurs, Los Landeros Tequila, Meldon Law, Titan MRI and Imaging, Castaway Sauce, UF Health Orthopedics, Michael Schneider PLLC, Florida Legends Gala and Experience, Money Metals, Sensei Asian Bistro. Our gridiron sponsors are Baker Sports, Florida Cracker Oyster, Gallo Car Wash, Miapa Latin Cafe, Peachland Dental, Quality Plumbing, Ruse Ogra State Farm, Silverback Concrete, 84 Lumber, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Florida Cracker Kitchen, Gator Dominoes, Ironwood Golf Course, McDonald's of Gainesville, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, UF Bookstores, International Gold and Diamond, Advocare, and MGA&A Wealth. Watch and listen to us live on Facebook or YouTube. Listen to podcasts wherever, on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And to advertise, be sure to call my man Freddie at 352-284-3733.
Recent price spikes in groceries, healthcare, gasoline, steel, and lumber tell the story of inflation. As the reality of all this inflation sinks in, investors will be acting quickly to diversify and protect themselves, their families, and their assets. Low transaction costs are one reason Investopedia calls Money Metals the best dealer in America. Don't waste any more time. Start protecting your savings today with physical precious metals at moneymetals.com/go.
To the Swamp and the Gators, with the best beverage served at Spur's Gridiron Grill. 100% agave Los Landeros Tequila, aged in bourbon barrels for a smoother taste.
I think you mean Head Beer Coach 1966 lager, a crisp, light, bodied lager for easy drinking.
Nope. Los Landeros Tequila, smooth enough to drink neat and bold enough to elevate a cocktail.
1966 lager, enjoyed on game days in the fall or whenever you need a winning cold brew.
When the late, great Charlie Daniels would need a place for jewelry he could trust, he turned to International Gold, Diamond, and Watch Exchange.
Hi, I'm Charlie Daniels, and I live in Tennessee, but when I get ready to do something serious about jewelry or a gift for my wife or somebody, I always get in touch with the folks at International Gold and Diamond Exchange here in Gainesville. There's a lot of reasons for that. One reason is they sell nothing but the best.
Find out what Charlie was talking about for yourself at International Gold, Diamond, and Watch Exchange at 3440 West University Avenue and online at igdwex.com.
By now, you heard about the Florida Legends Experience in Gala, featuring Gator Heisman greats Tim Tebow, Danny Warfel, and Steve Spurrier, all in one place at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. Imagine catching a pass or taking a handoff from a Heisman winner, all while supporting Isaiah 117 to help provide safe, loving homes for children in need. Then enjoy an unforgettable evening at the Gala, filled with great food and lasting memories. Don't miss this historic event. Find out how you and your business can get involved at fllegends.com. That's fllegends.com.
Good morning, everybody. We are live finally on Matthews in the Morning here at the bottom of the hour. This is Win with JC. I'm John Cornell. We've got Zach Routhrock coming in with me for you this morning as we go through just a multitude of things we can look at in the attempt to make some money and make some plays and try to win. We've got the World Cup. We've got Wimbledon semifinals for the women and men is tomorrow. We've got the Scottish Open underway already. Patrick Cantlay, an American, is tied for first as they get off early in Scotland. Shane and I made some picks yesterday on who we think will finish at the top. I have the defending champion Chris Gator up in that play. So we'll go through all of this in the next 30 minutes. I want to start, though, before we get into the soccer, before we start talking about that disaster that happened in Seattle on Monday night. We've got France and Morocco back on the pitch today at 4 o'clock in Boston, where the Patriots play. France and Morocco, a rematch from 2022 when France won 3-0 4 years ago in the World Cup, but that was 4 years ago. I want to start with a little baseball from last night real quick, and then I've got one play in afternoon baseball this afternoon. The New York Yankees continue to give us a redefinition of the word futility in terms of hitting. 56 runs in 20 games as they lose to Tampa Bay 3-0 last night. 11 more strikeouts. They've had 45 strikeouts in the last 3 games. That's 15 per game. They have had 212 strikeouts in 20 games dating back to June 18th. This team can't hit. They have washed up players, some of whom are making tens of millions of dollars and don't even play. Giancarlo Stanton is a name that comes to mind. Cody Bellinger, washed up. Paul Goldschmidt, washed up. They're done. They're awful. The Tampa Bay Rays with younger players, guys whose payroll is a fraction of New York's, just making it look easy against the Yankees last night, a 3-0 winner. And then, of course, the Boston Red Sox, 8-2 in their last 10. They've won 5 straight. They beat the White Sox 5-0 last night. Jake Bennett, 4 hits in 7 innings for Boston. And I'll tell you, right now, you just ride the teams that are hot. That would be the Boston Red Sox. That would be Tampa Bay. How about the Toronto Blue Jays? Last night, Dylan Cease, who you would think is second in the Cy Young right now as a choice behind Cam Schlittler. The only good thing going for the Yankees. Dylan Cease into the 9th inning last night with a no-hitter against the Giants. The Blue Jays win 10-0. He lost the no-hitter. He's $1.90 on the Cy Young. That's almost 2-1. I think that's a good play if you want a future on the Cy Young. How about the Miami Marlins right here? These guys, they are hot. They are 7-3 in their last 10. They've won 5 straight. They beat Seattle 2-0. Kyle Stowers with another home run. The Marlins just keep it going in front of 10 people every night down in Miami. Eventually, South Florida will wake up and maybe go to a ball game. It's not uncomfortable. It's indoors. So go watch your Marlins. They're real, and they're live for that division behind the Braves and the Phillies right now. They had a guy named Yuri Perez the other day on Sunday throw a perfect game through 7 innings, but was on a pitch count and was taken out of the game. They almost lost to the A's. They won by a run. They were up by 9 or 8 when they took him out. He had a perfect game going, but they took him out. That's because it was the 3rd start. Coming back from an injury, he was on a pitch count. No perfect game for Yuri Perez of the Miami Marlins, but 7 perfect innings. And then last night, Dylan Cease, almost a no-hitter as his was broken up in the 9th inning to the Giants. My play today in baseball, pretty simple one. Bryce Elder and Mitch Keller, the Pirates and the Braves, under 9.5 is my play on the total there. The Pirates, Jarrett Jones last night, 6 perfect innings, pulled in the 7th. Because he also was on a pitch count. He also is coming back from surgery. He was allowed to throw 70 to 80 pitches last night. He threw 77 pitches. The game was scoreless, and the Pirates lose to the Braves 3-0. But Jared Jones for Pittsburgh, 6 perfect innings. What's the story there? Do you let him go, or do you keep him on that pitch count to try to keep him healthy as you go through the second half of the season? That's always the dilemma that the manager has, and a lot of times it probably goes to the front office. So hard to say, but today we've got a really good pitchers matchup as 2 teams play in the afternoon in Pittsburgh, and the Braves trying to get out of town. So I think we're going to have a quick game between Bryce Elder and Mitch Keller, and the total is 9.5. I think that's too high. I would take the under in that. Or you can play the first 5 at under 4.5, under 5, and the first 5 innings of that one. Let's bring in Zach Rothrock. My producer is getting really excited about today's soccer as we have France and Morocco. Yeah, France is my favorite to win this. I picked them to win at
I would say so.
Plus 400 before the tournament started. I also have Spain at a little bit longer odds. But today, they are in the quarterfinals in Boston. Again, a rematch from 4 years ago, Zach. France on the regulation line is long. A very short, minus 400.
Short, right?
4-1 favors, short number there. The tie is plus 550, In regulation, they are minus 175. To advance, they are minus 375. To advance in regulation are two different bets. To advance does not include the tie, as you know, in soccer. Morocco to advance is a 3-1 dog, and they are almost a 6-1 dog to win this game in 90 minutes plus stoppage time. Your total is 2.5, minus 105 to the over, minus 125 to the under. I've got France going, and I've also parlayed France
Hard to
as
argue.
a finalist. I've got them as a finalist with Argentina and Spain. France with Argentina is plus 475, with Spain is plus 350 as just a finalist. That is to get to the finals. I've got England and Spain with France. England is plus 550. Spain is plus 1,500 to go to the finals. England and Spain is a finalist. Argentina and Spain is a finalist. And then Argentina and France, and England and France, because Spain and France would play in the semifinal. I hope I didn't butcher that too badly for you, but that's another way of playing these games. Another way of playing these games at plus odds to try to increase your margin on these games. World Cup odds: France is a 2-1 favorite currently. Spain is they're plus 180, so you get 2-1 odds. Spain is plus 360. Argentina almost 4-1, plus 4-1. England is plus 460, and then you get the long shots between Norway, Morocco, Belgium, and Switzerland: 14-1, 27-1, 30-1, and 33-1 for Switzerland.
Yeah, looking at these, this would be the quarterfinal realm. I think you got a decent chance for some of these to end up with upsets. Not necessarily the games featuring Argentina or France, but Norway. I just can't. I made a. I don't know what you would say, but I just had a thought earlier in the tournament that I'm just not picking against those guys necessarily. Norway. Now, eventually they would come past with a France or something like that, and I would have to. But against this England team. Norway, you get them. I think they're like plus 210 to win the game outright or to advance. I like Norway. I mean, honestly, JC, I just got to be frank. It's really just because I've become infatuated with Erling Haaland. I think the guy is incredible at finishing. He's soccer's Rob Gronkowski, basically. And so England, we have seen struggle through stretches. They did have the moment in the Mexico game where they scored 2 goals in about 2 or 3 minutes. But they've had long stretches where they really had a hard time scoring, whereas Norway, they may have had trouble on the defense at the back end, but they find ways to put the ball in the net, and it's usually off that dude's giant forehead underneath his blonde hair. So I like Norway to advance. I don't know how far we get past this, but I like them to advance against England, yeah.
So Norway to advance is plus 175. So that takes the tie out of it. That's a good number. I think England to advance is minus 225. Not such a good number. It's going to be a steamer down in Miami, my man. You're talking about two European countries. I mean, if it's in the high 90s, these guys are going to be wilting. I'm sorry. I know it's a covered 100%. Stadium for the most part, but the humidity, the heat factor is going to be really punitive. I mean, the total is 2.5, minus 140 to the over in Norway and England. To win the game in 90 minutes, you can get England at minus 120, but your Norwegians are plus 325. So the tie is plus 260 in this game. I've been doing a lot of Norway or the tie or England or the tie bets. Those are called double chance. The other bet that I like on these soccer games that has paid me a couple times is called match result 2-up. What that means on Hard Rock is that if at any point in your game, your team is up by 2 goals, and we've had plenty of instances where the team is up 2-0, Egypt over Argentina, Senegal over Belgium, all 2-0 scores, you win the bet right then and right there. Doesn't matter how the game ends. If you're up by 2 goals, you win the bet. If you're not up by 2 goals at any point in the game, but your team still wins the game, and it has to be in regulation, you get what is called the match result. So it's a regulation and stoppage time bet. So that's the thing. You have to be aware of that. To avoid those bets, those 3-way bets, you can just take a team to advance. Though the numbers, though, are much worse because you're taking the tie out of the equation in those bets. So you're taking Norway to advance, and to do that, you're getting plus 175. That's your play?
For Norway versus England, yeah, it is. Yeah, and I was just thinking. So
Both of these teams, I could be ignorant on this, but both of these teams, Norway and England, they both come from relatively cool climates, right? Neither country, they are not used to the heat, right? England
This
as
is,
well.
I mean, yeah, they would
Yeah,
love
yeah.
to switch with. Now, I don't know what the weather in Boston is like, but I don't care what the temperature is. It's the humidity, it's the heat
Oh, yeah, we
index,
know about that.
it's what it feels like in Miami. 97 in Miami feels worse than 97 in Massachusetts. Does that
Oh,
make
yeah,
sense?
every day. Oh, yeah.
70 degrees in Michigan feels a lot better than 70 degrees in Florida. There's this humidity thing. But I don't think these teams have really been affected by it. The late start times, whatever you want to call it, thus far in the tournament, a lot of these games are indoors, basically under roofs. You've got
Yeah.
games in Toronto, you've got games in Vancouver. These are way north of the border. That helps. England was very impressive, hanging in there in Mexico City against Mexico and all of the shenanigans from the Mexican fans, the weather's delay, the 1 hour delay with the rain. It had to be steamy, but in Mexico City, you're 7,000 feet up. It's higher than Denver. So it just doesn't feel the same in Mexico City as it does in Miami. It just doesn't feel the same. So I just think Norway and England is going to be a soaker. So a steam bath, more or less. So we'll see how that affects the scoring. But Norway and England, that's tomorrow. The way the brackets work out is that Norway and England's winner on Friday at 5 p.m. will play the winner of Switzerland and Argentina. That game's in Kansas City. That's going to be hot. In the middle of the country with the heat dome floating across the country, that's going to be a hot one. Argentina and Switzerland in Kansas City Saturday at night at 9 p.m. So you get prime time with Messi. Again, today in Boston, 4 o'clock, France and Morocco. The winner there will play the winner of Spain and Belgium. That's in Los Angeles tomorrow at 3:30. I got to be honest with you, Zach, I missed it yesterday. It was an off day. I know we're down to the final 8 teams. The final 8 teams are still left, but I was like, well, where's my goofy soccer game? I need a soccer. So I'm watching baseball all night last night. I've got a little tennis going on in the morning, like right now. I've got the semifinal on the women's side between Mahova and Coco Gauff. Carolina is a minus 115 favorite. Gauff is a minus 115 favorite. So you have to lay odds on both sides there. Gauff has beaten Mahova before in a semifinal. Mahova has lost to all 3 semifinals she's played in versus Americans, which would include Jessica Pegula and, of course, Coco Gauff. Right now, Gauff is even money plus 100. So I don't know. I mean, Mahova just doesn't beat Americans in semifinals. We'll see if that continues. The winner of that will play Linda Noskova and Marta Kostyuk, the Ukrainian who's playing for her country, as she says. Noskova from the Czechia, plus 110, Kostyuk minus 130. I have finals tickets on Kostyuk. She won earlier this year, I want to say, in Rome. It was either Rome or it was in Spain. It's one of those clay courts that she did win a tournament. Wimbledon's a different story, but Noskova has played great tennis here lately. Just got done winning on grass a week ago in Germany. Noskova is a 21-year-old Czech who can really hit it. She is a big hitter. And on the men's side, tomorrow semifinals, Zverev, your French Open winner, 7-1 favorite over Arthur Ferry, who is a 500-1 dog before the start of the Wimbledon tournament. He is a British player who has gone through some big hitters. Took out Caboli yesterday, took out who'd he beat the day before? It escapes me, but he was underdog in that match. And here he is in the semifinals against the French Open champion. Sinner and Djokovic will be playing in the other semi. Sinner is a 4-1 favorite. Djokovic, you can get at plus 350. Djokovic did beat Sinner on the hard court in Australia this year. But Sinner has, I think, the upper hand here. Most of the market believes Sinner will go to the finals to likely face off against Zverev. But do not count out Arthur Ferry. I don't have a play on either of the men's side. You watching any of this Wimbledon at all?
No, I really haven't, but I am
You off that?
infatuated with the idea of a 500 to 1 favorite potentially tearing it up.
Yeah, well, he's in the semifinal. His name is Arthur Ferry, and my God, he is in the he is in the in everybody's they love him over there in Britain. Conyer Ron 3792 says 97 in Gainesville is worse than 97 in Miami. That is absolutely true.
That is 100%.
That is absolutely true. Gainesville is right smack dab in the middle of north central Florida. The same can be said for St. Augustine, 87 miles to the east. It's just not as bad. The breeze, whatever you want to call it, the wind. Kanye Ron is absolutely right about that. But I don't know. I think it's going to be a great thing to watch Norway and England. You're pulling for Norway. I kind of like that. They're 14 to 1 to go all the way. Of these bottom four teams, Norway, Morocco, Belgium, and Switzerland, you got Norway at 14 to 1. Morocco's 27 to 1. If they get past France, and I don't think it's a big stretch saying that because of the way they play. They're very aggressive. They're fast. I think they'll keep up
I definitely like the
France.
over in that game as well. The France and Morocco. Yeah, so
2.5.
I would probably take France to advance when the over 2.5 in regulation.
Yeah, that's minus 105. That's your play there.
You couple those together, I think it's about 220 or so.
Yeah, but let me just tell you again, in my pocket as a finalist, I've got Argentina and Spain at 5 to 1. I've got England and Spain at 5 to 1. 550 plus 550. I've got Argentina and France at plus 350, and I've got England and France at plus 1500. I'm taking the chalk in all four of these matches, but I hope you win the Norway game. That way I can forget about England and Spain and England and France. Actually, I can forget about all four of those bets, so I'm not rooting for Norway. Sorry. I need England.
Fair enough.
But I'm getting plus odds on all those without having to really worry about ties or laying odds in the game.
That's the thing, yeah. And I've noticed on the Hard Rock app, every time you open it now, it makes sure it tells you the fine print. I imagine they've had a ton of complaints of people not really fully understanding the rules.
Don't bet if you don't know what you're doing. Just stay away.
Yeah, exactly. You got to make sure that you know what you're clicking in before you click it in. Yeah, 100%.
The Nielsen preliminary ratings for this soccer, by the way, on Sunday night, 44 million people watched Mexico and England. 42 million people on Monday night watched the USA and Belgium. And to put that in context, the AFC NFL Championship game, 46 million. The NFC Championship game, 48 million. Okay.
Yeah.
So almost as many people watched this soccer on a Sunday, Monday, as they did on Championship Sunday, watch football.
Yeah, I can feel that.
NFL.
Well, I was gonna say it had that feeling of like your grandma knows about, like your aunt knows about, your people that don't really watch sports are aware of it. You know what I mean? It had the feeling of anytime you talk to anybody throughout the country that you met into, they saw the game, they were disappointed by the game. So I can feel that it had a high rating like that, and people were actually really into it.
Well, and also on Thanksgiving Day, 44 million people watched the NFL games. On Christmas Day, 23 million people watched the NFL games. The NBA Finals had 20 million. The 2025 World Series had 16 million, and the 2026 Stanley Cup had 5 million. So this soccer is a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
And I guess what helps this soccer is the fact that it's once every 4 years. If this was every year, I don't know if it would be as big a deal. Maybe it would be. I'll tell you this. I've enjoyed getting through the dog days of summer watching this crazy soccer tournament, even with all the controversy and the shitty, absolutely garbage refereeing.
Yeah, I'm going to miss it next summer. It has really enhanced my day-to-day routine this summer. I'm going to miss it next summer. I've honestly heard that's a very Americanized way of thinking, is that all Americans want to take away offsides, and all Americans want to make the World Cup every single year and just completely saturate it and water it down.
All I know is that it's never probably been better than being held in America in terms of the enjoyment,
the infrastructure,
visiting. Sure. Yeah, the infrastructure, the stadiums, the amount of people who have visited this country and talked about it on social media, and the absolute depression they go through knowing that they have to go back to their lousy little country in Europe. I mean, I would feel that way. I'd say, hey, how can I just stay here? Maybe maybe what I do is bring my pregnant wife over here to have a baby, and then I get to stay here.
You could be the president. There you go.
I don't. So silly. I don't know, man. I don't know what the answer is. Golf. We've got the Scottish Open. My 5 picks. Shane's 5 picks. The worst odds are Tommy Fleetwood at 16-1. He's got McIntyre, Fleetwood, Marco Page, he's hurt. He's 250-1. Anyway, Patrick Reed, 75-1, and Matthew Fitzpatrick, 17.5-1. I've got Matty Schmid, who showed up in one of the majors. I can't remember. I think it was the PGA. He's 500-1. Terrell Hatton, 500-1. I don't know how that can be. It's in Scotland. He should be 50-1. But Chris Goddard 50-1. Last week's winner at the John Deere, 3-time winner on tour this year. Shane Lowry, 100-1. And then Xander Schauffele I have at 60-1. But the way to bet golf is, I'm telling you, as I've gone through this, I've won on some winners. I've had some winners before the tournament this year. But I think the way to bet on this is top 5, top 10, and winner on the weekends. Just pick out of that pool of golfers. You can still get tremendous odds up to 20-30-1 on the weekend. Even on Sunday, if you got a guy who's 4 or 5 strokes behind, but he plays later than maybe some of the leaders, I don't know. I just think if that's even possible, I just think it's a better chance to pick up a winning ticket if you wait until the weekend. Patrick Cantlay, who's -5 right now, tied with Tom Kim and some guy named Bernd Weisberger, is 15-1 right now. Minwoo Lee and Brooks Koepka are 4 under. They're well above that. So you can try it now, but I think what you do is you look at top 5, top 10, or try to pick the winner on the weekend and maybe bet a little bit more. You may get shorter odds, but you get a winning ticket if it's all on the plus side. You will multiply your bet. So that is the way I like to handle golf. What do you have for the other soccer games real quick before we step off? You said you like Norway. You have any other picks Saturday night after that game with England? You've got Argentina and Switzerland.
With Argentina and Switzerland, I'm kind of doing almost the same thing I did with the France game. Well, that is taking Argentina to advance plus doing the over 2.5, which the over 2.5 by itself in regulation is actually at 120. You add that with Argentina to advance, I believe it gets you to about plus 260.
Plus 260. I like that.
Yeah, and then I wouldn't take Norway to advance past Argentina, but I might take them to play to a draw in regulation or something like that. I definitely want to take Argentina to beat Norway outright if it comes to that. But yeah, I expect that the chalk will win in the Argentina and France games as the 2 biggest powerhouses come, but I wouldn't be too surprised if in the other 2 games we saw a mild upset.
So do you like, I took Morocco on a flyer at 5-1, but I've got France in all the futures bets, and I've got France.
That's a good way to approach it.
It's kind of a hedge. It's kind of a hedge to pay for all those futures bets if Morocco does pull it off. I've also got Morocco at almost 3-1 to advance, taking the tie out of it. But I've got France and Spain in a parlay just to win in regulation at plus 155. And I've got France and Spain as a semifinal game on that futures ticket.
So with Spain, and this is another one of those things, I'm not a soccer analytics guy. I've been watching soccer for about 3 weeks, okay? But I just feel like Spain is one of those teams where we've really just seen them struggle to score goals at times. So I'm going to go with Belgium to advance, which is an even a bigger underdog than Norway. They're at plus 240. And I like Belgium? I do.
Belgium
I do.
not
as much as Norway, but I definitely like them to beat the Spain team. The Spain team I just haven't been as impressed with. They give me the kind of feeling of I don't really know who to compare it to. One of these like Big 12 teams that gets really overhyped. That's who Spain feels like to me.
But nobody's scored on them.
Yeah, that's a good point. But no one had scored on Mexico either until England did it within a 90-second window. But I guess that's just the way the score, because how can I say that Spain's not scored through stretches and then flip it?
I think as a dog, Belgium is live because they impressed me against the U.S. the other night. They did not impress me against Senegal.
Yeah, I think that's another part of it is I can't get the fact that they just throttled the U.S. out of my head. And the U.S. was supposed to be this offensive powerhouse, and they just completely shut them down. They looked lost, hands in the air, giving up 20 minutes in.
Yeah, if I have to hear this guy's name Pulisic anymore, I'm gonna pull my hair out.
No one should be called Captain America. They
Shove
gave
her hair
Aaron
out that
Judge the
laugh.
Captain America nickname, and he didn't show up in the Classic. They gave Pulisic the Captain America nickname. He doesn't show up in the Cup. No American player should hereby be referred to as Captain America until after they've already won a trophy.
I don't want to hear that
go.
crap. I can't take it. I can't take it. He sucked. He's like the Yankees trying to hit the baseball. He was awful. God, he's bad. All right, so enough of that. Morocco is a dog, but France and Spain to advance to semifinals. Norway, you have as a dog over England. Argentina, nobody scores on Switzerland either. They don't allow many goals. They just can't score themselves.
Argentina has looked rough, not just in the last game, but against the Cape Verde game as well. They've shown stretches where they look really.
They allowed the greatest counterattack goal I've seen in the entire tournament to Egypt. That was called back because of some stupidity from the automatic replay booth or whatever the hell that crap is. They let it go until there was a goal. Then they decided, oh, well, we can't allow that. It was the most gorgeous goal you'll ever see, a counterattack breakaway goal. Two guys taking on the entire defense of Argentina and kicked their ass. Got the ball in the back of the net, only to be deprived of that. Beautiful goal. I guess it's just Egypt, How much money do Egyptians spend in America? I don't know. Maybe that's the problem. I don't know. They wanted Argentina, though. I can tell you that's for damn sure. And that's what's going up against Switzerland tonight. I'm not a conspiracy guy, but how can you not be watching this stuff sometimes? But I still like watching it. That's the problem.
Yeah, you're not the only one who has insinuated that there are potentially some people at FIFA who are making the path easy for Lionel Messi and Argentina.
Whatever.
For sure.
Yeah. Well,
for sure.
Well, I'll tell you, it's been great. Enjoy it today. Good luck with your bets. We've got college football quickly approaching. Next week, we're going to start talking a little bit of college football. We're going to get into some futures, Heisman Trophy odds. This is the year of the quarterback, and we'll talk about that next week as well during PodUp with Matthews in the morning on Monday and Wednesday, and then with Zach again next Thursday on Win with JC. I'll go heavy into some college football for you as we get ready to get through July, get through this tournament, get through the British Open, and get into college football as we head hard into August. Good luck, everybody. I'll be back tomorrow morning with Shane at 8 o'clock on Matthews in the morning. Until then, good luck with your bets.